regular course in Chinese University.
I think most of them are here.
Okay, thank you. So perhaps let me start my sharing, okay, which is my part of the workshop. First off, let me explain that today's workshop is divided into the first half hour, which I will be responsible of on using LinkedIn to start your search for internships and also part-time jobs, maybe for those people that are graduating their full-time job as well. And I will be spending the next 20 minutes in showing you with my hands-on experience how to look for those kinds of openings that you desire. And as I have explained a little bit earlier, this is a joint effort by two teachers from HKUST and also Chinese University. And perhaps if all of you that have little knowledge of me, I am a CUHK alumni as well, because I took a course in the year 2019 and I graduated in 2020 with qualifications to help me learn and also be able to offer career counseling to students and also to adults as well. So this is an opportunity for me to do something that all of you in the university are doing. We learn all the theories about engineering, about business, about nursing, whatever kind of knowledge we can gain. And we are looking for opportunities to put all of them into practice. And this is an opportunity that I put together to practice my skills about your career development. So having said that, I'm sure that all of you probably are wondering, when it comes to your preparation for the workplace, and what is something that I can do. And during the break in HKUST, which is a month long, the entire January, a lot of students probably feel that well, it's nice to have a break, but at the same time they could feel that they are not making very good use of their time, because a lot of internships are being put on hold, and a lot of work study opportunities are also put on hold as well. So perhaps one thing that we have all learned from the past year is that we have had all our classes conducted online with Zoom. And some people say Zoom University has a motto of no pants required, because you only see each other's face. Or perhaps like the teachers and like the setting right now, only the teachers are showing their face and none of the students are. And a lot of people feel that they are isolated, they are alone. And what I would like to do is, I would like all of you to please participate in a very short poll. I am launching the poll. The question is, when you're looking for internship or part-time jobs, have you used your university's career center, either in person or online, last semester? Have you used your university's career center to look for internships or part-time jobs last semester? Okay, I see that we have a total of 39 people in our venue today, and 30 of them have voted. 7 have yet to give us their response. All right, 34 people have voted. 36 among the 40. And I'm going to show you the results a little bit later on. Okay, so I guess our polling ended at 36 people voted and 4 people have abstained their votes. So I'm ending the polling, and I'm going to share with you the results. Now, Among all people, 40 in this room, 29, about 81% said that they have used their university's career center to look for internships or part-time jobs last semester. Only 7 haven't, okay, which is fine, which is okay. And I'm glad to hear that you have put to very good use the resources in the university. Now, one thing that I would like to show you though is about this. Okay, here. And I'm going to show you 2 different places. The first one is HKUST, our Career Center Internship Network that we call the INET. Now, please take a look at the words here. Suspension of outbound in-person internships through the end of summer for academic year 2020 to 2021. So it means that because of the pandemic, a lot of the originally scheduled or planned internships have been put on hold. And next, I would like to share with you Chinese University's Career Planning and Development Center. Because over here, you can also find a lot of information. For example, this one, the Global Internship Program. When I click on this, you will find, oh, how come? This is very interesting because it says information for outgoing students for the year 2019. This is definitely not updated. And it seems like the pandemic really has put a lot of the jobs, or a lot of the internship openings offered by different universities on hold. So if you are planning for summer 2021, I definitely need to gain some work experience, to try out practicing the knowledge that I've learned. What can I do? What should I do? So that is why I come into place here to share with you. When you take a look at, for example, this HKUST website, it says, you may explore other internship opportunities through our job board. And what is a job board? This is what I'm going to explain. There are many, many places that are job boards where you can find information about job openings. And I have over here a list of them. For example, LinkedIn, Monster, Job Careers, Glassdoor, and Top Jobs, and among some of them, Indeed as well. So all of these are like different websites where employers will post their job openings and will invite candidates to apply for them. And there are just numerous of these job boards and they don't link one to another. And if HKUST Career Center is advising candidates or students to go to different job boards, including the ones offered by the Career Center, then maybe what we can do is to do our search in a little bit more global manner. What I mean by global manner is you may consider using one of these very popular job boards, which is LinkedIn. Because you're in the LinkedIn website, you can find there are 30 million companies posting 20 million job listings per month. And through LinkedIn, there are on average 100 million job applications per month. And just by the sheer number of job listings, job applications, and companies that post their openings on LinkedIn, you will find that, well, this is actually a gold mine. And perhaps what I can do now is, instead of explaining all these or giving you all these kinds of details, I would like to show you how to search for your ideal internship on LinkedIn. I hope here you can see my LinkedIn profile. because if you don't have a LinkedIn account, you cannot start searching for jobs. And so because I have a full profile on my LinkedIn account, then I will be able to give LinkedIn enough information about me to start doing my search. So over here at the top left-hand corner, you can find something called search. And I type in the word internship. And immediately you will find all these different openings popping up on the screen to give me all the internship openings in Hong Kong. Now, why Hong Kong? Later on, I will explain. Okay, you can take a look at here. We have Take-Two, this company, and it says it's actively recruiting. And we have Rosewood, Hong Kong. Let's click on this one. Rosewood is a hotel in Hong Kong, and they have Service Center Associate as an opening. You can find the name of the recruiter, talent and culture executive at this your hotel group that posted this particular internship, and it gives you the job descriptions, it gives you the requirements, and it tells you whether it's entry level, full-time, part-time, or whatsoever. And then you can also find the company information. In fact, you can also apply for this opening through LinkedIn as well. Other than that, if you take a look at the screen on the left-hand side, you can find English copywriter internship, internship trainee by Courtyard by Marriott Hotel over here. And we have global virtual internship from a group that is called the Intern Group. And we have a lot more. For example, duty-free shop in Hong Kong, Astri, okay, summer internship program, and then your AIA, and we have like another insurance company called FWD, and now this is one that I would like to share with you. Mandarin English Bilingual Speaking Associate Program. Now, why would I like to show you this? Is because this is a company that not only recruits Mandarin English speakers. Yesterday, I found that they were recruiting Indonesian English bilingual speaking and Korean English bilingual speaking associate as well. And if you click on this button, you can apply for this particular opening. Now, this is called Alpha Sites in Hong Kong. And this is the description of the role, okay? And it tells you the company culture, what they are looking for, the job requirements and things like that. And then it tells you what you can expect. And the hiring timeline, it says that we hire on a rolling basis. Now, what actually is this company? What I did was I used this name of the company and I did a search. Now, this is the company, Alpha Sites. Their headquarters is in New York, and they are a consulting firm. And this is a real company. They have offices in San Francisco, New York, London, Hamburg, Germany, Dubai, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Seoul, and also Tokyo. So no wonder they are hiring all kinds of people with different kinds of work experience, with different kinds of language ability. Now, why? Yesterday, I could see all those openings that require Indonesian language or Korean language, but today I cannot find it on my feed. It is because of here. As you take a look at this search bar at the top of my LinkedIn account, because somehow my LinkedIn profile is located in Hong Kong. So the algorithm of LinkedIn will automatically show me only the jobs for Hong Kong. But if I change it to something else, for example, if I change it to South Korea, now this is my search yesterday, I will be able to find all the internships in South Korea. and some of them in Korean language as well. So you can use this to search for job openings in whatever city and country you desire. For example, like yesterday, I also did a search on London, England, UK, and all these 946 results are from London, in the greater London area. So these are things that you may do to help yourself look for internship openings, job openings in whatever country, whatever city you would like to. And you can even limit your search to, for example, please take a look at the screen, Amazon, Guardian Jobs, and then your different kinds of companies. And we have job type as well for full-time, internship, part-time, volunteer, contract. And it asks you whether it will be, whether you want to work in a remote location, you're like Hong Kong, you're applying for a job overseas or whatsoever. There are all kinds of filters that you can use. And some of the filters even can be applied to, for example, whether you want to find there are CUHK or HKUST alumni working in that particular company. And as you search, you will find industry. Oh, you can even limit your search to marketing and advertising, financial services, or your internet, computer software, IT, or whatsoever. And the job function can be sales, can be training, can be marketing, can be business development. It can be all kinds of things. So perhaps your LinkedIn is a platform that somehow in Hong Kong, we have underestimated in our job search process. So I'm sure that with all of you young people who are actually gurus in social media platforms and your internet searches, you will be able to do a much better job than I can in looking for things that you are interested in. And now I would like to share with you some other information. I have shown you just now how to do your search. Another thing that you really need to be aware of is that if you, number one, don't have a LinkedIn account, your search will not yield you the results that you want. And even if you have a LinkedIn account, but if it is not attractive enough, it will not catch the eyeballs of the recruiters. So what you need to do is to make sure that you are an ACE LinkedIn candidate. Now, ACE refer to, number one, create your all-star profile. Number two, connect to knowledge workers. Number three, engage to grow your network. Now, as for all-star profile, you guys can go and search for all kinds of YouTube's videos on teaching you how to create your all-star profile. And I'm not going to spend time on that. But the importance of an all-star profile is that it makes it 40 times easier to be found by recruiters. And it also attracts 3 times more traffic from searchers, from the feed, and your network as well. And the second thing in the ACE is to connect with knowledge workers. So the difference between Facebook and Twitter and Instagram compare with LinkedIn is LinkedIn is a platform mostly for people with higher education, at least a bachelor's degree, if not a master's or PhD holder. So all these are what we refer to the knowledge workers. And the kinds of job openings that you can find on LinkedIn are very different than the job openings that you can find in other, particularly social media platforms like Facebook. And why do you need to connect? Because these people are your potential referees. They will likely give you a positive recommendation and introduce you to their network as well. And the last element in your ACE LinkedIn profile is to engage people to grow your network. How do you engage people? How do you reach out and grow your network to make it at least 200, 300, or perhaps even 500 people strong? You need to write posts on LinkedIn. And those posts will showcase your knowledge and your expertise, number one. Number two, when you show that you are a knowledgeable person, you are an expert in the area that you study in the university, automatically you will attract eyeballs. How? Well, let me show you this, okay? Here, I'm showing you my profile as an example to end, okay? I'm about to wrap my sharing. So you can find that I have a profile here with my banner, my profile pic, and then with my name, and my very short summary of what I do. And I'm open to work opportunities. You can choose whatever locations and let the recruiters come to you. And I actually have recruiters coming to me. And over here, about is a very short personal summary about myself and your activity. Now, these activities are the posts that I post on LinkedIn. And when I post something, my first level friends will be able to read them. And if they like it, if they like my post, then their friends will be able to see my post as well. So that is why I keep this portion very busy. And every week or so, I will post a new post. And at the same time, you can find my experience, my work experience, my education, my licenses, my certificates, my voluntary experience, and my skills and endorsement. All these are my complete LinkedIn profile. Now, I've got friends, I've got people asking me, oh, Anna, I know that LinkedIn has a function to help you translate, okay, or transfer all this information into a resume. Yes, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So when you see my profile here, and right underneath my name and my short description, you see the button, more, right? You click on this, and then you can choose build a resume, okay? And I say, okay, create from my profile. So I'm going to skip this portion, and you can see this is my resume based on the information that I have on LinkedIn. Now, there's a problem. While it really saves me a lot of time, but the problem is this is too long. All the information that you want to show in your LinkedIn is very different kind of information that you would want to show in your resume. And I would like to share with you another person like me who is a career development facilitator. This person, Louise, wrote a blog, and she said how LinkedIn Resume Builder can ruin your job search. I completely, absolutely agree with her, because the kinds of information and the length of the information that you put down on LinkedIn is very different from that of your resume. So even though you can go for the shortcut, but it doesn't really help you. Okay, and so I would like to share with you, all this information, how LinkedIn can help you. And when I return next Friday, what I would like to do is to share with you a little bit more information about how you connect to different people, and what kind of people you can connect to, and how do you go up to a stranger and then if you click the connect button, it doesn't work. Okay, there are tricks that you have to do in order for you to make your connection smooth, and then to attract people that would become part of your professional network. And I would like to end my sharing over here. And as I promised, I will leave the last 4 minutes to Q&A. So may I ask you if there are any questions for me from anybody? Or you can type your question in chat, and I'll be most happy to take them. All right, so perhaps if so far none of you have questions, Kevin, can I turn the time to you? And if anybody has questions that you'd like to ask, perhaps instead of asking you to raise your hand and then let us know your question, you can type them on in chat. Okay, you can type them in chat, and then perhaps at the end of Kevin's session, we can handle all of them together. All right, the time is yours, Kevin.
Thank you so much. I think most of you basically would have known me, except for those who are in UST. So I don't know how many students are there in UST, but my name is Mr. Kevin Goh. I'm actually Kevin Goh. If you look at whatever that we have done so far is that need to add into whatever Anna says, that both of us basically are resume writers, in the sense is that we help students, and at the same time with our passion basically to help you with your resume and your LinkedIn profile. But then you might be wondering then, why do I need to do a workshop on LinkedIn and resume at the same time? That's also because LinkedIn is basically the first part where you start to look for your internship on your own, you start to look for your opportunities on your own. So for those who are my students at the end of the day, you kind of like know that, opportunities don't really wait for you. You have to then grab the own opportunities on your own. So with whatever that Anna has taught you today, then start searching for the internship that you truly want. And once you have looked for it, then you need to sometimes then send your resume. And your resume is basically the second document that you basically need in order for you to be able to sell yourself through whatever that you have to. So for today's workshop altogether, I will be focusing only on the content and some of the things that you basically need in your resume. There is another trick though that you need to learn. Whatever that you have in your resume can be transferred to your LinkedIn, but under one condition, that you do not copy and paste your resume into your LinkedIn profile. That's all. Whatever that you do, if you look at Anna's LinkedIn just now, you'll be able to see that we do not put bullet points as compared to resume, and resumes will put bullet points. What we do in LinkedIn is, at the end of the day, is we write very long-winded things that are basically part of your resume as well, but in an extended version. So that's the reason why when you build your resume, it will not work, and you have to build your own resume from there. Either way, whatever it is, you build your own resume first, and then you move on to whatever that you need to move on to. All right. Because I am not looking for a job, I am not also selling that I'm a consultant or whatever it is. At the end of the day, you'll be able to see I'm just me. That's it. All right. That's why when it comes to the heading itself, like Anna's one is a little bit different. Mine is basically just smack on like that. I just want people at the end of the day to notice my profile, and that's it. As I've mentioned to a lot of you, I am still a full-time lecturer. At the end of the day, I do not put a lot of things because I am not looking for stuff. Right, I am just showing this to the people outside in the business field, connect it back to my students, so that at least then you will have a network to go to. Like Anna said, you need to reach out to the alumni in order for you to do so. So that is on the LinkedIn, and why we actually do LinkedIn and resume at the same time. So let's move on to whatever that I need to do today, and that will be moving into the LinkedIn and resume workshop part 1. When you come back next week, we will move into the ATS friendly words that you can actually use. And basically, they are just some of the words that you have to be really careful of. But for today, let's move on into part 1, so that when you look at your resume, you kind of like need to know how to basically build a very good resume. All right, and that's for sure. So let's move on to a very simple thing altogether. I like to start with this because it will give you some time to think about what needs to be done. So say, for example, in a typical resume, you'll be able to see that you need the contact information, you need the education, you need the work experience, you need the ECA, you need the technical language skills, you need the scholarship and awards, you need the additional information, and you need referees. And if you go through a lot of things online or through ELTUs and through whatever language centers, they will always tell you, you need to feed all this information into one page. Yeah, you need to feed all this information into one page. But the next question is going to be very simple. Then if everybody has managed to feed those information into one page for people to see, or for the HR department to see, then what's the difference between yours and the other person? How would you then, differ from yours from the other person itself? This, on the other hand, then you have to look at how you placed your resume as compared to the other person as well. That's why when it comes to creating resumes, even though it's going to be on one page, it's how you maximize the space itself and how you make it beautiful to the extent that it works for you. Now, say for example, you are a student, right? A person with experience in the business industry and you want to do sales. I have some of my students here. Let me just start off with a person that I know who will be able to speak. Chun Yin, are you there? Chun Yin? Chun Yin, are you there? Hi. Chun Yin, are you there? Hi. Is anybody there that I can actually say? Yeah, I can actually ask for Martin. Martin, are you there? Can you unmute?
Yeah.
Hello, Martin. Thank you so much for helping this out. So basically, if you are a business student and you want to look for sales, if you are to look at all this information, which one, according to you, is going to be something that is very, very important when you're looking for whatever that you need as a salesperson?
Sorry.
So as a say, for example, you are a student, right, looking for an internship in the sales department, all right, and you want to do sales altogether, then which information on the left-hand side you think will be very important to you?
I think the work experience.
The work experience, yeah, great. Are you a
Also education.
as well? All right, good. Are you a finance student?
No, I'm an IBBA student.
You're an IBBA student, but you're not going to be moving into finance, yeah?
I plan to concentrate finance.
You plan to concentrate on finance, but you
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just ask you as the second question then. So say, for example, if you want to be an intern in one of the finance department, following a finance analyst. So what must you show that person? And what do you think it will be important?
I think maybe what I have learned in like some finance class or my skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, Martin. So people always say, thank you, Martin. People always say at the end.
Problem.
Thank you. So people always say at the end of the day is that, you need to do this, and this is the chronological order that you must follow everything. But at the end of the day, you have to know something as well. You need to maximize your resume to the extent that people will be able, when they look at you, they know that you have actually created a super profile based on whatever that you have. And that's why also at the same time, it's always good for you to network and to do your informational interview so that you know what you need to do in order for you to maximize not only your potential, but also your resume at the same time. If you're going for sales, then what you need to do is that you need to be able, in your work experience, to show your potential hiring people that the potential hiring people that you have the experience in sales. However, as a technical person, yeah, the working experience is important, but at the same time, there is another thing that will be equally important as your working experience, and that will be your technical skills. As a financial analyst, You need to learn programs to analyze things. And in reality, your ability to be able to use and to execute those programs well is something that you need to show to people that you are able to do. So there is a difference between being a salesperson, or when you want to maximize your resume for sales, and when you want to maximize your resume for a technical industry as a financial analyst. So because of that, you have to then show to people different things altogether, and not only show to people that, hey, this is the chronological order, this is me, and this is it. What you do here is that other than your work, contact information, and your education, if your education is highly related, but of course then after a few years, you can also dumb down your education if you want to, only after you have all the experience. But because you don't have it, then you still move it up as the second point. Then that's when you differ a little bit. If you have technical knowledge or technical skills after a while, and after you have been working a while, or after you have studied for a while, and you know all those programs, and you're a financial analyst, you might want to consider putting one part of your technical skills up as compared to putting your work experience up, because people will then be more interested in looking at the programs that you are able to use. So that's why when you build your own resume, you have to think in this particular manner for that particular thing to do. If you are going to be an educator as a teacher and stuff like that, then you might not want to consider even a one-page resume, because as a teacher, then you have to be able to show to people the knowledge that you have, the things that you have studied, and a lot of other things as well, right? And that's for sure. And the last one, of course, then as a fresh graduate applying for a master's degree, then you just need to build your resume as it is based on a chronological order. Now, when it comes to building your resume itself, most of us are being taught to use the chronological order in that sense. So what does it mean by chronological, functional, and combination at the same time? Chronological order is when you list your things based on whatever that is current all the way to whatever that you have done, and that's it. Functional, on the other hand, it doesn't focus on what you have done. It focuses on your skills and your strengths instead of your work order. Most of the time, we do functional if you have technical skills that you want to highlight to other people before you move into whatever that you want to talk about. And of course, combination is the best of the two. So if you are a student and you are you want to move into the financial field, then and as an analyst, then you might want to consider using a combination where you then be able to move your skills up before you start to talk about your working experience, right? And that is for sure. So let me just move in, go back to the websites that I am going to show you, right, this one. So at the end of the day, this is a chronological order, a typical order that we have been brought up to. Like, for example, you have this is a chronological order. For example, you have the thing itself, you whatever you want to, then you just move it up. That's your work experience. Chronological order works if, say, for example, you do not have loopholes in the middle, where, for example, you have been doing internships for a lot, but for you all, most of the time, then your working experience, you won't have any loopholes. But for me, sometimes, say, for example, halfway through my life, somewhere in between 35 and 36, 35 and 38, I've decided to become a house husband, and then there will be a gap. That's when I will consider using functional. Functional is when you basically list out your professional experience. Now, instead of listing your employment history, you list out whatever professional experience that I have to highlight that professional experience. And of course, then, if you say at the end of the day, oh, I want to do a combination, you can actually do a combination as well. And this is how a combination will look like. So you do a summary of the skills that you have following the employment history and the education. Now, if you're doing this for your ELTU assignment, then please don't use any one of these two. But if you want to maximize your resume for you to be able to secure the internship itself, then be smart. Look at what needs to be put first in order for you to be able to shine. And that is for sure. So instead of doing anything anyhow, and at the same time looking at things that might not work for you, maximize the potential of your resume. If you Google a little bit, all these things will come out, and that is for sure. All right. There is no such thing as other things that will not come out, and yada, 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 and that's it. All right, now that we have gone through that, let me go back to my PPT to move into another point that I want to share with you. Now, when you look at your LinkedIn profile, right? When you look at your LinkedIn profile, when you look at the resume, there is a thing called headings, and there is a thing called objective statements. It's something that you need to put. So what is an objective statement? What is a heading? Both of them basically is where you then tell people what are you trying to do. If you're writing a resume and you're applying for a job, of course, then you'll be able to change the name of the job. But at the same time, other than that, how do you then maximize your headings and maximize your objective statement to tell to people, hey, this is me and this is what I have. So what I have learned basically from my guru is that at the end of the day, there are certain things that you can actually do to make sure that you can maximize the potential of your one-liner. As your objective statements or your headings, you do not overdo those kind of things. So don't overwrite it, that's for sure. But either way, there are certain things that you need to think about. So what we have learned basically, in order for you to maximize your resume, objective statements, or your LinkedIn's headings, first thing you have to think about, what do you want? So what we have learned at the end of the day is that when we are writing, think about your presidential message. Presidential message, basically, at the end of the day, means that what is the main message that you are trying to send? Like, for example, I want an internship in this company for this particular position. Fine, you have that as your internship. Or I am a student looking for internships. Fine, you can put that in your LinkedIn account. However, everybody will be able to do so. Now you have 47 people here, all right, all together, and everybody is writing that I want an internship. I'm from Chinese University looking for an internship. Everybody will be writing the same thing. So how do you then, in a way, with the brief, with a very, very short bio, a very, very short sentence, be able to then distinguish you from other people? That's when you put your vice president message. So you might not need all 6 of them, but at the end of the day, you still need to be able to think about it slightly a little bit. So a wise message, president message at the end of the day is, what do you consider as a skill that you have that will make that internship work? Or what would be some of the skills that you can sell, right? Or that you can basically promote, okay, to make it work? Very simple thing altogether. So say, for example, iPhone, all right? Everybody knows that iPhone is one of the most expensive phones in the entire world, other than Samsung. But why do people still want to do iPhones? And when you look at how they sell iPhones altogether, then they will sell you, oh, with an iPhone, then you'll be able to have an OLED screen. With an iPhone Pro, you'll also be able to take very good pictures. We have enhanced those pictures. With an iPhone, basically, you'll be able to have clear crystal screen. You'll be able to have the fastest chip in the entire world for this particular year, because every year they change it. So this is what it means by the vice president message. You have to then tell people, if, say, for example, you are to hire me as an intern or hire me as this position, this is what I am good at. Of course, those elaborations will not come in your objective statement, all right, nor your headings. It will come in when you start to use the STAR approach to approach your content, and that will be your experience in LinkedIn, and of course your work experience in your resume where you write in bullet form. You have to then tell them a few of the skills itself, preferably 6 to 8. But if you want to make it shorter, it's perfectly fine. Sometimes you don't want it to be too long. As I said, 6 to 8 will be fine. Then you then end it with a value added message. Like, for example, if you use this iPhone at the end of the day, you will have all these functions that I've just listed. And then you end it with, you will then be able to have the best experience ever. So what kind of value added message or values that you can actually give to the person if they are to hire you? So this this communication tool, or this basically presidential and vice presidential message, can be used in almost every single scenario if you use it nicely. Like, for example, if you're going out for an informational interview, then what do you hope to achieve from that information interview? Then you list out whatever that you need. So it depends on the scenario, and then it depends on how you want to tweak this presidential and vice presidential message. So when you're writing your objective statement and your headings, therefore, remember to think about the OMC chart, and that will be the presidential message, and the vice presidential message. I've forgotten the IIL, but it should be fine. All right. Now that we know how to secure the headings, let me just then move on to the last thing that I need to go through with you. All right. So say, for example, when you're writing your resume, all right, so say, for example, you have this young chap like you who wants to be an auditor, and this is his resume, right? What do you think is the biggest problems in terms of content when it comes to this particular resume, right? In terms of content, what do you think is the biggest problem of this particular resume? Edmund, are you in? I saw your name just now. Edmund, are you in? Sorry for putting you on the spot, but Edmund, are you in?
Yes, yes.
Great, thank you, Edmund. I just need to ask you one simple question. So say, for example, this is a resume, or this is going to be your friend's resume. What do you think is missing in terms of content here?
I think the job descriptions are too dull, lack detail at least.
What do you mean by lack details?
Like any exact project that he has worked on during his job, and any value that he brings to the company, like his individual importance to the company.
Great, great. Thank you, Edmund. So everybody knows at the end of the day, if you look at resume and you really Google resume, everybody will be telling you, oh, do the STAR approach, use the STAR approach. So what is the STAR approach? Situation, task, action, and result. Even for us, basically, at the end of the day, yes, you use the STAR approach. However, at the end of the day, this is the thing as well. When you're writing your STAR approach, you have a situation, you have a task, you have an action, and you have the result. When you're writing your resume, to maximize your bullet point for the ecosystem altogether, you have to be in a way to show to people as much information as you can. Same goes with your LinkedIn when you write them in the first person view. So when you're writing in your resume, when you write it in your LinkedIn, you basically transferred whatever that you have in your resume and then elaborate even further so that people will know what you have done in your LinkedIn. But for your resume, you keep it into bullet points, you keep it into that. And that's basically when you're nailing two birds with one stone. It's just that you need to do a little bit of a slightly tweak. So what Edmund say basically is really, really important, and that's basically the truth. You need more information to show to people that, hey, I have done this. Like, for example, yeah, I have taken care of various accounts for corporate clients like BMG Music, PNG. Then I have also at the same time, I've checked the corporate clients' accounts, and these are the clients' accounts itself. And I've been communicating well with clients to ensure that the reports are in order. Of course, then when you look at the language, they'll be like, okay, some of the language are very weird. Some of the grammar are going to be very weird, but that will not be something that I'll be touching on today, because at the end of the day, as I said, you have to make sure that you maximize your resume to be ATS friendly. All right. ATS basically means at the end of the day, it's auto tracking system. And say, for example, if you want to like work for a very big company at the end of the day, say give you another 2 more years and going out to work, most of the big corporations, even for the HR department, they don't look at 2,000 resumes. Imagine you being a manager, you're doing it, you're in the HR department looking at 2,000 resumes per day. What they do is that they will buy a system or a program that will help them to filter whatever words. So whatever it is, you have to learn those ATS friendly words. And when you maximize the resume itself, you have to maximize it based on what will work and what will not work. And that basically is ATS friendly for you, to give you a little bit, just to give you a little bit of the idea, so that when you come back next week, I will be able to go through with you what does it mean by ATS and what does it mean by, having good grammar, and what are the 2 grammars that you have to do. Because at the end of the day, I am still a language teacher in that sense. All right, so you have to do this, and you have to build your own LinkedIn anyway. So that is basically what it is. But for now, if say for example you have your own resume and you have your own resume, so you have your own resume already, or if you don't have your own resume, then start building your resume so that you have that as your first draft or your final draft, or you have that as a way for you to write your stories on your LinkedIn profile. So the whole thing altogether, at the end of the day, what I mentioned is maximize your potential by basically creating a resume that will be able to put you as one of the best people in the world. Now, the reason, and at the same time as well, make sure that you have enough information for people to know that you are the best person for this particular job. Simpler to say, because most of you are business students, I will give you a very simple scenario, all right? You submit a resume A, I submit a resume B. Both of us are very good in communication. Then how do I know that I will want B more than A? And how do I know I want A more than B? If both of us basically say we are good at communicating with clients. However, if I say I am very good with communicating with clients, because at the end of the day, on average, I close sales up to 10 people per month, then at least then I have that number, I have that result to show that, hey, I am at least slightly better, I have something to show. So when you're building your resume, do not think like, oh, this is me, I'm good at communicating with clients. Then as an HR manager, I'll just look at it and like, everybody is saying the same thing. Remember, Hong Kong has a lot of graduates and a lot of people looking for internships. You need to show to people that, hey, I am the best person for this job. So remember, maximize both your LinkedIn profile and your resume as best as you can by giving enough results for people to look at. All right, so great. That will be all from me for the time being, and the time now is already 1:51. So therefore, I will then share this floor together with Anna in case if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us. You can always just open your microphone and speak. At the end of the day, I will not bite. That's for sure. Regardless whether you're from Kitty's class or Connie class as well, or whether you're from UST, just open it up. I won't bite, Anna won't bite, and we will just answer as best as we can. All right. And if you are too shy, like most of us, sometimes I'm very shy as well, I will then type. You can also choose to type if you want to. All right. So any questions from the floor?
All right, thank you very much, Kevin, for giving us such a detailed explanation of what the resume, how it should be different from the LinkedIn profile. Now, in order to second or back up what Kevin Goh just mentioned, about the ATS, perhaps many of you haven't heard of this term before. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, and it is an algorithm that almost all companies use nowadays, because there are just simply too many applicants for all kinds of openings, all levels, no matter whether we're talking about full-time jobs or whether we're talking about internships. So I would like to share with you one example of your ATS. Okay, so I hope that all of you are seeing this, which is the page that I share with you a little bit earlier on, Internships Hong Kong. Now I clicked on this particular job opening for data analyst on modeling. Okay, so please take a look at the bottom. What will bring, what you bring, and then when you see this here, previous experience in using other programming and data manipulation languages preferred. And it's specifically listed SQL, Hive, and also Python. In short, if your resume does not include the keywords of SQL, Hive, Python, or words like data manipulation, or, for example, keywords like R or SAS, I'm afraid that the ATS system will screen your resume out rather than in, because there are just too many applicants, as Kevin Goh has just mentioned. So somehow what you need to do is not just put together a resume with general description about yourself, your knowledge, your experience, but it has to include all the specific keywords. And I second what Edmund just said, oh, the resume, it's too general. Yes, it's too general because it doesn't look ATS friendly at all, or ATS ready. And just like what I said, a lot of the times when you go into the details about all these job openings, internship openings, remember I just shared with you, the company called Alpha Sites. This is the one, okay? Indonesian English required, and not only they directly posted their job openings on LinkedIn, but they also use a recruitment agency. Learn more about Alpha Sites here, and yesterday I looked up this one and I found another one that requires Korean language as well. So all these are opportunities for you to consider. Okay, now let me stop my sharing over here because I've got one question from one of my students in HKUST. Sia asked the question, oh, I'm a year one student. Do I need to apply for an internship? Why do I need an internship? Okay, so let me explain. As a teacher, I have a lot of experience in teaching English. But at the same time, in order to cope with the changes in the world, I have to change as well. I have to acquire new knowledge. I have to acquire new qualifications or so on. And as I have mentioned, I have learned a lot of knowledge when it comes to career development, when it comes to counseling or whatsoever. However, just having knowledge is not good enough nowadays because I need to show people that I am able to apply the knowledge in everyday real life applications. We need to combine the knowledge that we learned from university and with hands-on knowledge, experience, practice. And this is exactly the same reason why Kevin and I decided to put together these 3 workshops to share our knowledge with all of you. And at the same time, we gain the practice that we need. All right. So may I ask you if anybody has further questions to ask? You are most welcome to type your question on chat.
We just know students too well.
All right, okay. I see the time is 1:58 and it's only 2 minutes before lunch hour ends. For some of you who may already have an internship or a part-time job that you're working on. So we would like to thank all of you for coming here today. And if you have a personal question that you would like to ask, please, you're most welcome to stay behind